my name, calling all night. I can pull the wool when I'm being polite. Like, darling, calling all night. I can be a bull even when I'm polite. Like, oh me, oh me, oh my. I know many women wanna be in my life. Like, oh me, oh me, oh my. Why can't every woman end up being my wife? Say, even if she go away, 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 I'm a classy man. You can be me when you look this clean. I'm a classy man. Calling on me like a young OG. I'm a classy man. Who needs a good man in the street? Elegant, old-fashioned man. Yeah, baby, I'm a classy man. I burn through the city like whoa, and everybody's feeling so cold. I'm cool like Jack and Gold, and they get a bit of my glow. Got job like a leprechaun. Who you messing with? Y'all two's a wrong black boy to be messing with. That's great things in store. Subscribe if you want more. Even if she go away, 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 I'm a classy man. You can be me when you look this clean. I'm a classy man. Calling on me like a young OG. I'm a classy man. Who needs a good man in the street? Elegant, old-fashioned man. Yeah, baby, I'm a classy man.
I think especially living in New York, like people want to know where is their money going, for what? Because there's so many options, there's so many things going on, and people want to know what are they getting into, and the answer is, I don't see nothing much.
NYC right now, the nightlife needs to go through a change. People are just not liking the way it is right now. Just in general, live performances are where stuff's going, so I feel New York is in for a big change in its nightlife.
It's going to a shithole. I feel like clubs now, everyone can open a club and call it a club. I feel like we need something that's new, you know. There's no more clubs that has theme. It's like open a fucking basement, put a fucking DJ on it, and the lights, and call it a club. You know, club needs to be put in effort and a theme and good people and good vibes. You know, you can't really force people to have a good time. You have to give it to them. So I think that's how I think it is. Because right now everyone is just opening their own fucking clubs on their basement and calling themselves also DJs because they could fucking hit the, what do you call that? The button.
5 to 10 years ago, you never knew who you were going to bump into at any party. It did not have to be a celebrity studded event. It did not have to be a million strippers in the building. Any party was the party to be at if the right crowd was there. And I can definitely say 5-10 years ago, the people that were really making the money to spend were the ones that were clubbing, compared to now. Like I said, it's a facade. You have people that come out and they'll blow their weekly check on one party or a couple of hours of being out with beautiful women and a couple of their friends. So 5-10 years ago, this would have never really flied, because without the Instagram or the Facebook, there was no way to show what you did last week. You had to do it every week for anybody to actually take notice to it. Compared to now, you could take 100 pictures and spread them out over 100 weeks. And that, if anything, will be the biggest change. Like, social media has changed the party scene tons.
The New York nightlife has declined. For a few reasons. One of them is they stopped issuing cabaret license, which in essence means you cannot dance anymore in the nightclub, and that's why there's the bottle service arise. Taking that thing out is probably the key component. And I saw a lot when I would deal with people from out of town, where they're so used to seeing dance floors. They opened up way too many venues, and the whole fun energy and talent, there's just so much that could go around, they got too spread out. When I hear the word promoter, the first association that comes to mind is a sleazy guy that will do anything it takes to get people in.
Promoter, well, people that draws in crowd, people that have the ability to bring in revenue to the club, as well as making money for themselves. Pretty much getting the name out.
Promoter, I mean, I think somebody who's annoying, who's gonna email me, blast 20 times a day about coming to their party.
When I think of a promoter, I'm gonna say I think of someone who knows a whole bunch of people. Someone who's pretty popular, someone who has their mind set on fulfilling the criteria or, fulfilling the criteria for a certain club for that night. And so a lot of the times promoters can treat partygoers as just a number. They're just someone that they need to fill a club spot.
It has a bad stigma, you know. It's kind of a, like I said before, it's kind of a scummy, it has a scummy undertone to it. But you know, fortunately, there are, you know, some diamonds in the rough.
Why don't females like paying for cover? Well, you know, females shouldn't pay for anything. But, you know, even though as a gentleman, I feel like that it's always a doorman's discretion. And, you know, unfortunately, some promoters, or, you know, maybe it's because, you know, people, you know, feel like it's taboo to speak about it. There's always doorman's discretion at the door. And it's a place of business, you know, each venue, and they have the right to, you know, manage that however they want to. So me, I try to lead every single inquiry in the right direction and let them know what they're getting into. So, you know, some people may feel uncomfortable speaking about the whole, you know, how do people look, how tall they are, you know, their dress code and everything, their age. It is unfortunate.
In New York City, it's hard. If you want to get into like a decent, good, well-known club that plays some good music, you most likely won't get in, or you most likely will have to pay a really a large price tag to even get into the club, even as a female. And don't even, you know, for the guys that I'm with, like, I can't even imagine, you know, the price that they have to pay to get into the club, which always sucks. You get in based off of how you look and who you know, which sounds really shallow, but that's how it is, you know?
I think people have the right to know, and the best way to do is be upfront about it, to speak about, you know, what kind of crowd is in that venue, what kind of crowd is that venue, because, you know, someone might be doing a birthday, and birthdays come around only once a year, and sending them to the wrong venue could really ruin their night. So I try my best to just be as transparent as possible, and you know, let people know about the doorman's discretion, which is unfortunate, but that's why I push to go to the much bigger venues where everyone is accepted, because, you know, it shouldn't be about how people look, you know, how tall people are, how short people are, you know, how, you know, this person's skin color is, or this person's age is, and what they're wearing. I think people come to New York City because they want that experience of, you know, partying in a huge city where, you know, there's a piece of every part of the world, and I think it's a shame if you don't do that.
Good customer service to me is stepping into the customer's shoe. No matter what, when you can only understand somebody when you're trying to see their point of view. That will really give them the answer of what they're looking for. And that can mean that they're calling you with the issue or asking you a question, but if you're in their shoes, you're really understanding where they're coming from. And then The other part is walking the extra mile. Every service has its foundation in what it offers, but what really takes it to the next level and what makes it memorable is doing that extra mile. I'll take an example in Nightlife. A girl's having a birthday party and you get the waitress to come out with a sparkler on the bottle, that this bringing out the bottle. As much as it's nonsense, you can see it making such a difference, and for that 60 seconds that the sparkler's going off, she's really the center of attention and everyone's taking pictures of her. That's the difference. In New York nightlife, as it goes right now, customer service sucks. It's all about just getting people in, and that's it, not really caring about their experience. That's it, they lay down their money. Bottom line, we make money, that's all they care about. To really be successful is you want to have these people wanting to come back completely on their own, regardless of whatever is going on, just because they know the customer service is so good.
So what I try to do is create a party inside of a party. And this is what I did first starting out. I would, get this section, and it's just one small section with a table, a couple of chairs, a VIP section where people would come and I could give them some complimentary drinks. And I didn't care about anything going on at the rest of the club as long as me, my friends, and all the people that I brought out were having fun, whatever it took. So if I had to get some, chocolate covered, fruits, some strawberries or pineapples, I've done that before. Or if I had to get, a present for the birthday person, or make sure there's like a ton of extra sparklers, or have some type of like fun games, going on, or even if I had to get creative in the place, spend about like whatever it took to be able to give people their money's worth, that's what I would do, and that's what I still do. So, I took it from the table and now I'm doing it in the venue. I think about what can I do to give people their money's worth, because people have so many options, and why would they spend their money to go to this party if there's something better going on in that party?
I expect consistency. If you say that you are going to do something for me and my friends or whoever I'm with for the night, I expect that when I get to the club that you're gonna follow through on all those things that you've texted me or that we've communicated about. I've had my share of experiences where that has not happened. Luckily, with Apollo, he's restored my faith in going out to clubs and also my faith in promoters. I just expect you to follow through on your word. The reason why we go to clubs is because a certain promoter or certain someone tells us, hey, come through to this spot, there will be this kind of music, you'll be at my table or you'll get your own table and we'll have this and X, Y, and Z. So I just expect for those things to be available for me when I get to that certain spot when you first invite me.
Apollo's personality is a very unique one, where you have this positive force on one hand, but also very easygoing, down to earth, it's very hard to face Apollo. And the most important thing in his personality is caring. He will do whatever it takes to make sure that his clients are satisfied.
Apollo is like, he's like the epitome of big things come in small packages. In terms of his, personality and who he is, he's just very live. He's energetic. He's like so charismatic. He knows how to move the crowd. He knows how to lead people. And I've been with him for, I don't know, it's been almost 10 years now that I've known him. So he's always been that kind of person. He's always been like the party person. When he was younger, he used to do like talent shows in middle school. So he's always had that get people together and have everybody in a good vibe kind of thing. So for him to transition that into Nightlife, I mean, it was no problem.
He's always part of the party. He's the life of the party. He makes people feel comfortable. He makes sure everybody's fine.
Apollo, as a host, I would think is the best host ever. And not because I've used Apollo's for like 3 of my events. I just believe he takes his job personal. So even after like the bottles are finished and the ice is melted and everyone has gone home, Apollo will call the next day or text you just to make sure that you and your family have gotten home and everyone is okay and it's fine. And you know, that adds an interpersonal skill that most people don't have, because you know, this is a business and there's plenty of promoters out there that will tell you that, yeah, they'll make your birthday the best day ever, or they'll make your wedding or your anniversary or whatever it is the best day ever, and they'll forget about you the next day. You know, once the cameras stop flashing and the music stops and everyone leaves, then you feel like you were just like a regular customer. But Apollo adds a little bit of personal touch to it that makes you feel like he really was interested, like he really wanted to make sure that this night that means so much to you was the best night ever. And I think that's probably because that night means a lot to him too. So I think his ambition is great. I think he's overly enthusiastic. He makes you have a good time even if you don't want to for your guest. And I love him. I honestly, he threw my 21st, he threw my 23rd, and he had a party. I had a graduation party that was beautiful in Opus. I loved it. Like, he makes you feel so personal. You feel like he's your friend, just not somebody you hired to, you know, make sure that the guest list is right or to make sure that everyone shows up and they're dressed attired and you have the proper ID. He goes beyond just the mechanics of doing his job, and he makes it personal, and I think he's great for that.
Oh, Apollo's fun, energetic, very energetic no matter what time it is. If you've met him at 12 noon or 4 o'clock in the morning, you kind of meet the same person. He has a great sense to him about finding the good quality in somebody and trying to create an atmosphere that is the right type, I guess, in best words to put, for every type of party goer.
Oh man, Apollo's personality is just like, I don't know, he just has a lively, like, bubbly personality that everyone is drawn to. Like, everyone around him loves him. He knows always the right things to say, and he's genuine. And I don't know, you can't get much better than that.
Apollo's probably the coolest guy I've met, hands down. This guy is so much fun. He's like, I could know this guy for 1 month and I'll say he could be like one of the best friends. I mean, he's right down to earth. He's here to hang out. He's not like, there's no like lie about this guy. He's not shady or anything like that. Very real, very genuine guy. You know, when I first met him, I didn't know what kind of guy this person is. It just like, it seems a little bit superficial sometimes when I first met him. Just walking around. The second time I met him, it was at a VIP room. He was like getting recorded for like being as a promoter.
Apollo's hat and glasses first struck me as kind of odd, so I asked him about it. And then I realized that it was a genius marketing tool. There's a lot of promoters out there, but he's the only one where you can actually identify. You don't know how he looks, but you can definitely see his hat and glasses. So definitely a genius marketing tool.
So Apollo's distinctive look is the glasses, the hat, the black Converse, black button-up with a bow tie. He's very, I like to consider him dressy casual because the Converse kind of keep him casual while everything else about him is very dressy. He's always put together very well. I've never seen anything out of place on him.
Apollo wears hat and glasses all the time, which I think it makes him really different. He stands out. You know right away who Apollo is because you always recognize his big glasses and hat.
Apollo's hat and glasses, it's a signature. It's something that most people don't have, that one thing that kind of gets them, that stands them out from the crowd. And I remember when he first started wearing a hat and glasses, and I'm like, dude, you're wearing that every day. Like, what is this? And then he's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna run with it. And I'm just like, what? Like, you can't run with no hat and no glasses. And then it just became this sort of persona. You know, it's like Superman, you know, and Clark Kent. You know, the hat and glasses kind of represents the S on his chest. So I like it.
Apollo's hat and glasses is his trademark. Like it's what makes you, like, you'll just see a cutout of it. Like, it doesn't have to have its facial features or anything. It just could be like a cutout of a Kangol hat, you know, with big lens glasses, and you'll think, oh, that's Apollo. That's his trademark. That's legitimately like his icon. And I love it so much that for my graduation party that he threw 2 months ago, I dressed up like him. I had the Kangol hat and I had the big frame glasses and I was blowing kisses at the camera, you know, typical Apollo stuff. He was surprised by it. He loved it. We took pictures together. We looked like twins. I was like the dark-skinned Apollo and I loved it. I loved it. I posted it everywhere and people went crazy about it because it's not really my style, but it's his brand and I love it.
I don't know what it's like to be a club promoter, but I think you have to be recognizable by a lot of people. You got to be well connected. You got to know a lot of people, and so it helps to stand out. And Apollo just naturally has this look. It's just his own presence, demeanor, his glasses, the hat, everything about him you just can't miss. He just has this iconic presence and wardrobe, and you recognize him a mile away.
It's fucking ridiculous. Apollo's hat and glasses, seriously? What are you trying to be, Urkel? No, but it's cute. It's really cute. The girls dig it. You know, he looks smart because he's not. But I mean, he's kind of smart, I guess, with the glasses.
Apollo's ethnicity. I think he is Spanish. Because of his energy. He has so much energy. I think that's what it is.
He's Puerto Rican.
He looks French. Apollo looks French. That's all I'm gonna say. He looks French.
When I first met him, I had no clue what he was. I actually thought he was just a light-skinned black guy.
Apollo, if he was taller, it would look like French to me.
Ethnicity. He could be a mix. I'm gonna throw Hispanic out there. He could be black, maybe even a little bit of white or some German in there, some European, you know.
When I first met him, I did think he was probably maybe mixed, mostly white, maybe he's probably Spanish.
Apollo could be a mix of many things. I would think he's either Israeli. I could think he's a mix of black and white. I think he's Spanish. You know, it's very confusing.
I just think what ethnicity he is. His ethnicity, he's a world citizen. That's all I have to say.
Apollo is like a Twinkie, you know what I mean? It's like white on the outside, but like, oh wait, Twinkie is actually white on the inside, but like tan on the outside. He's the whitest tan person I've known in my life, but I know he's black.
So what sets Apollo apart from any other promoter is that his parties are always live. The people that come along with are just great people. The vibe is just amazing, and that's all he's doing. It's the energy that he has that attracts all of these amazing New Yorkers and around the world. I have met people from Africa, from Europe, from just about anywhere.
What sets him apart is his the way he does things. He's very organized. He's, you know, if he says that he's gonna do something, it's because he's gonna do it. He's a man of his word. You know, not a lot of times now in the promotion, nightlife business, you meet a lot of frauds. But one thing about Apollo is I can never speak bad about him because he always kept it real and always kept it 100 from day one.
Well, Apollo is more like an event planner. Okay, he's not like a promoter that's run around and grab people here and there. He just sets the event, let his people know where he's gonna be, and his people show up for him. He created a really high energy, fun atmosphere. You know, I don't know how all promoters do it. Other promoters I've seen doesn't really work as smart as Apollo.
Well, from what I've seen, he puts his all into it compared to others. He actually does care about his fellow promoters, sub-promoters, and his guests. He has a great relationship with all the clubs he works with. And as far as anybody that I've seen and the staff that's worked with him, it always smiles and laughs. So I would say he's probably a very easy person to just be around, all in all.
Since I started being a promoter in NYC, I've noticed that the nightlife scene has changed dramatically, even within the past like 3 to 5 years. For instance, the meatpacking district, it was just so congested at one point, and now, you know, Thursday nights are just a tough night to get people out, and even Fridays and Saturdays aren't as like bumping as they used to be. Now, you know, there's always going to be a lot of people partying in New York City, but it's not as it was before. And the reason this is happening, I believe, is because, you know, people kind of figured it out. They're able to go with a promoter. They go into the club. They're probably going to get some complimentary drinks. There's a DJ. There's a doorman. There's a bar. And that's about it. So the whole like idea of like going to a club, you know, having an amazing time, and you know, buying bottles and you know, just partying in NYC, it's like I feel like it's kind of dull. You don't really get the money's worth, I believe. So you know, moving from a promoter to an event planner, that's the change I'm looking for, because when I started, it was a lot more fun, and that's what I'm pushing to change and search for. So people are throwing these parties, and people are paying to get in, and coming to this space to enjoy themselves and listen to good music and have an experience. And in reality, they're just going into a space, and you know, yeah, they hear good music, you know, there's great DJs, but you know, what else are people getting for their money's worth? What memory are they going to take? So that's why I feel that's what's missing in NYC Nightlife, is that actual show, you know, that people get, you know, maybe in some other cities like Vegas or Miami, you know, getting that awe. You know, yeah, there's like celebrities that come through and get paid to perform for people in clubs, but I think it's become so saturated that people are looking for more, and just putting that little touch, personal touch, and giving people an actual event, themes, and something more to give them the bang for their buck. I think that's what New York City is missing.
His vision of the bigger picture. It doesn't matter, he'll lose money one night to keep a customer happy, and that customer will come back again and again. The big picture vision is definitely what separates him. Apollo, from the very beginning, had a vision. His vision is, I am going to differentiate myself from all the other promoters. He started his vision by a very simple thing of taking a hat and glasses and never using his real name to anybody. He went through a really long process of making sure that there is no picture, video, of anything of him without his hat and glasses. This marketing tool is the foundation to all of what he's created of that. I remember seeing him as like, first time, like, who is this short guy with hat and glasses? Didn't think anything of it. I saw a lot of promoters, but after getting to know him, I realized there's something different here. And that just caught my eye, and just seeing the growth where he realized that doing fishing was going to take it to the next level. He stood there in the pouring rain, in the crazy sun, even in the snow a couple of times, and he would get rejected. He would have a hard time at the door. Whatever, he would just go right back out there, really. It's very hard to not get faced by that, but he would just go in and out, and he would come back again and again and again. Apollo, having a really hard day job, is still able to pretty much have a whole second full-time job. And the way he got through it is just his vision of he wants to create something unique. Slowly but surely, he just, because of his positive personality and his really caring for his customers, he started building a following that started slowly, but once he really got everything figured out, he just started growing and growing, and then at one point he's like, that's it, I'm getting off that ledge of fishing and I will stop, even if it temporarily slows down my numbers. And that was, I can say, a really big turning point for him. After that, he came down with he really started understanding the whole social media game, of how to get people offline, and once he would meet the people, he would give them such amazing experience that they would come back for more and more, and he learned the very good concept of a good promoter is not someone that knows a lot of people, it's knowing people that know a lot of people. So they, in essence, are doing a lot of the work of organizing everybody together. And he just isn't comfortable in the same spot. He always strives for the next step. And going from getting 5 people in a night, he went to 10. And he started growing his numbers, and he got really good at hosting birthday parties. It was getting to a point where he was doing 60, 70 people a night. That wasn't enough for him. He's like, I want to start making events. His first event was his birthday party. It was really amazing. About 100 people showed up, and I knew he was going to succeed. When I told him that he had 107 people, he was disappointed. Like, I was shooting for 200. And having that ambition is what's going to get him far in life. And then he went from doing an event inside of event to doing his own events. And his second birthday, he did completely on his own, and he just did something completely different that New York nightlife hasn't seen before. It had a dancing act, it had a singing act, it had DJs. It is really amazing, and now he's grown into a partner in a production company, and within a year I see him running his own music talent discovery company, or who knows what's in store in the future. I just know he'll be really successful.
So going back from the very beginning, till now is like a very, very, very long road. Throwing parties isn't as easy as everyone thinks. There's a lot of background to it. There's a lot of programming. So to help people party, you have to do a lot of work to prepare that. But this is something I enjoy and I love doing. And promoting was definitely a foundation, a plateau to help me organize events. And now that I'm moving away from it, I am going to miss it, being around the tables and walking people in. But I just feel that me being able to, do it on a larger scale and to be able to influence the changes I think that are best for New York City nightlife will, give some kind of substance and give the positivity that I could do with my power, for the culture in its entirety. So, I will miss promoting, but this company that I've created called Mount Olympus, the whole ideals and principles just kind of like fall around that foundation that I believe in and still do believe in so strongly. Just being at that table, after I walked in people from the street and just fulfilling everyone's vision. I want to be able to fulfill from start to finish, what is promised to the guest, to the client, to each and every customer is, a memorable time And whatever we're promising, whether if it's, you know, a hip hop party, the EDM party, if we're gonna add on a celebrity, if, you know, there's gonna be some kind of, you know, performance or confetti or smoke coming from the stage, whatever it is, just want to be able to take that, those principles and those values and be able to fulfill it every single time, flawlessly, and also being much more personable, being honest. That's always how I dealt with people, and even though it's like on a different scale, it's not like at a table and I'm texting people and, you know, telling them what's going down and, you know, making sure they're getting in. Even so, I feel no matter what, you still on a larger scale to have that personal touch. So being available and having staff available on call at any given time to be able to answer your questions and be able to walk you through your whole birthday or your bachelorette party or your engagement party or your private event, whatever it is. I want to be able to instill those values, to be personable, to give people their money's worth, not just coming and going on the guest list and you know, taking money at the door and your money for drinks, but actually giving you a show. So I want the DJs, the performances to be, you know, memorable, and also at the same time to show our appreciation and to be able to have that touch with my database, just like when I was texting people, and to be that trustworthy company for you to come to have a good time in New York City. But if you're a local person who, you know, lives around the corner in the Meatpacking District, or someone coming from overseas, you know that Mount Olympus is the company to go to have a good time.
Can we forget the time right now? Let's just live for tonight right now. A new world awaits, girl, come to me. We can't do no wrong, girl, just you and me. I've been waiting for this for so